Welcome to the third and final video in this little trilogy of post-flop analysis with your host, Ron Swanson's moustache. This one, maintaining the theme of the last ones, so this time we have moved the top card from a king down to a 2, so we're now looking at the 2-7-4 flop. Again, rainbow and the different types of flush draws. Things look a bit different on this. We're seeing a lot more heavily towards the top end of ranges, or ranges weighted very much towards the top end. A lot of over pairs, some of the 2 pairs getting picked up already. We'll just apply the same sort of thinking to previous videos. So we're just looking for major swings and differences. Looking on the bottom row here, we see once the flush draws comes in, that is now starting to take a substantial portion of their continuation range there. Yeah, a lot higher than the calling ranges and in the same sort of region as the opening ranges. As the ranges open up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, definitely on the calling ranges here, it, all but one of the sets and 2 pairs misses their continuation ranges, pretty much all over pairs, which I guess gives you something to think about if you're playing a pocket pair or a top pair. You've got to expect to be considerably behind a lot of the time against that type of range. Again, it's hitting. I mean, on the opening range at the top, the initial continuation range on the rainbow board, very heavily top pair and over pairs and 2 pairs, or not 2 pairs, sets. So you've got a lot of top pairs, a lot of over pairs, and a lot of sets in that range. Or the continuation part of it, anyway. If we look at the calling range, their continuation range a lot weaker, and 3-betting is, as is fairly standard, seems to be some of the strongest overall ranges. Interesting here on the bottom row, when the top and middle flush draw comes in, we've lost all of our sort of weak middling pairs that are there on the rainbow and the middle and bottom flush. So that's something to look into. Yeah, curious to not see anything in yellow on that. And yeah, on the top here, looking at that as well, 20% in the yellow range in the middle row from top and middle flush, but 54% in that yellow range on the middle and bottom. And yeah, looking at their entire range for that, only 21% folding range. They're playing nearly 80% of hands there, whereas on a rainbow board it drops down to only playing about 40. So that's a huge difference. Again, definitely something to dig a little bit deeper into, try and get some understanding of what is happening there and why. Just looking on the right hand side. to the tighter ranges once we start dropping out the open enders, and or rather we drop the gut shots first and then drop the open enders. Again, yeah, the opening and calling range is looking reasonably similar, but the three betting range massively stronger, much more weighted to the top end. Not really seeing anything else leap out at me on this particular slide. I think we've got one more range where it's going to get slightly wider before it goes back to beginning. So see if, and here we go. See if this transition changes anything. The opening and calling ranges both starting to get very draw heavy there, especially on the possible flush draws as well. You know, we're looking at what, about 30% of their range as draws, another 30% of their continuation range being draws, another 30% being, you know, weak pairs or middling pairs or weak pairs plus draws, and only a third of it being top pair or better. So yeah, very wide ranges having large folding ranges and the continuation ranges being extremely draw heavy on this type of board, whereas pretty much the opposite for the tighter three betting ranges, and would apply to the tighter opening ranges as well, where most of that's at the top end. It misses all the draws, and it becomes a very strong made hand type of continuation range. Uh, Bottom row on the right on the rainbow selection, yeah, once we've dropped the potential straight draws out of the range, their their range then becomes what, 90% over pair or better. So that's definitely got to be something worth keeping in mind in certain situations. And nothing more really leaping out specifically here. Maybe just going to let it cycle through to the end of the run one more time, have another look at the four ranges still to come. Not an awful lot to say about this either. Um, yeah, nothing more to comment on this one either, really. I think definitely comparing the three different flops against the same ranges will show probably some interesting changes and allow us to predict maybe what those changes would continue to be if the trend were to continue. Again, yeah, all looks pretty uniform between the different types of flush draws in these situations. As we progress through, yeah, I mean, just adding more hands to the ranges that aren't connecting with the flop. It's obviously just weakening the overall range. But obviously, if they all fall into the folding range, it doesn't affect the continuation ranges at all. Okay, I think I've probably mentioned this one before. Second row, middle and bottom flush draw, less than half the top pairs than the rainbow, and top and middle, and 54% weak pairs or weak pair and or middle pairs or weak pair and a draw. I think that is the only real standout thing we're seeing here. I think there was one other thing I noticed. I can't remember, but that's the point of recording these videos, so I can go back and listen through to the nonsense I talk and actually pick out the important bits and then go away and look at it a bit more. I think we're getting pretty close to just wrapping this one up. I think I may have made all the observations on this one that I'm going to make. Yeah, I think we've seen all there is to see on this one, so I'm going to call this a day. I'm going to go away and do some follow-up investigation from the questions that came up in all three videos. Do follow-up videos on each one, hopefully being able to answer the questions I've given myself. And then, yeah, finish this little run off with another video where I look at all three of the previous videos running at the same time, three different screens, and I see if having that much information on the screen at once starts revealing some secrets. Uh, until next time.